Hey everyone, welcome back to White Sparrow Living, Luke 12:6. I'm Wendy and I'm so happy you're here. Today we're taking part in Heidi Sombel's Friend Friday Hop, so let's hop right in.
For our first project, we're going to be using a tall, skinny Christmas sign, a snowflake ornament, and a microfiber duster mop pad. I ended up leaving out the ribbon and the white stem because I'm always changing my mind. So the first thing we're going to do is pull off the little Happy Holidays sign on the front and then the ribbon at the top. And then to get the staples out, I just used my needle nose pliers, and I'm going to have to get a little hook to get under it because it was so far into the wood. So I'm just going to get those out and then sand that down so that you can't see it, because we're going to be painting on the back and that's going to be our front. So I'm using my Annie Sloan paintbrush, and I get a lot of questions about that, and you can buy these online or at a certified stockist of Annie Sloan chalk paints. So it just gives a better finish and covers a lot of territory all in one swipe. So I'm just going to use my Waverly chalk paint in Crystal, and I'm going to give this 2 coats. I'm going to let my first coat dry completely, and then when I put my second coat on, I'm going to go back in with some white chalk paint while it's still pretty wet so that I can get that blended a lot easier, and it just gives it a nice shaded look. So now I'm going to take my mop pad and I'm going to fold it in half to see how large I can make my letters, and I'm going to be spelling out the word joy. So the snowflake is going to be my O, and then I'm going to make a J and a Y out of the fluffy furry mop pad. So on a piece of cardstock, I'm going to trace out the letters J and Y and then cut that out and trace it onto the back of my mop pad, but I'm going to turn it upside down so that it comes out the right way when you cut it out and turn your mop pad over. It seems like I've been doing a lot of really messy projects lately, and this one did not disappoint. It was super messy as well. But one of the things I did do was put the back end of the J on that seam so that it didn't come out as much. It'll be shedding and kind of get all over the place, but we're going to just glue that all together so that it stays in control. And then when you have little bumps and places where it comes completely apart, you're just going to take some hot glue and patch it up and get it all perfect. So now I'm going to take my letter and hot glue that to the board, and I first put my snowflake down in the position that it's going to be, and I left some room at the top so that I could put some pretties. I originally thought I was going to do a bow and some of that really pretty white eucalyptus stuff from the Dollar Tree, but I ended up changing that completely, and you'll see that in a minute. So now to keep my letters from shedding and losing any of its pretty fur, I just used some hairspray to keep it all in place. So here's where I changed my mind from my original plan, and I found some of this really neat nylon rope at the Dollar Tree. And so it's a really bright white, and finding things that are bright white to go with this was a little bit of a challenge. So this was perfect, and I just unraveled the strands, and then I'm gonna attach those at the top of my board. And I really like that they had that wavy look to them, so I'm just gonna use that. And then I took a little piece of linen to cover it all after I get them glued onto my board, and I use a makeup sponge or a makeup spatula from the Dollar Tree to do all of my glue pushing. And here it is all finished, and I love how this turned out. I'm going to show you everything that we make today all at the end put together, but I'll show you each one individually and how pretty they are in this beautiful soft blue. I'm not doing any blue in my Christmas decorating this year, but I love looking at this color, and I love the crisp white with that soft blue. So I love how this turned out, and I hope you guys like it too. For our next project, we're going to be using a white 8x10 frame, a metal word, and a pretty gift bag to go with our color scheme. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take out all of the insides of your frame, and you want to be careful with the little tabbies so that you don't break anything off. And then I'm going to cut my gift bag apart and measure how big I need to cut it down using the backboard of my frame, and then just cut that out. This is the most simple DIY ever, but it's so pretty, I think. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue on the back of my metal word and place that in the middle of my pattern paper, and then pop it into the frame, and then just replace the back and you're done. And I wasn't able to find any other blue items in the Christmas section, so I just tried to find something that would match with that one ornament, which I found in the clearance bin for 50 cents. So here it is all done, and I wish you could see this in real life and close up because it's so pretty and glittery, and it's got that blue iridescent look, and I just love it, and I can't wait for you to see it all together. So I'm super excited to be taking part in Heidi Sonbul's Friend Friday Hop, where we've joined crafting forces to bring you a whole circle of Christmas creativity. So once you're done here, you'll hop on over to the next DIYer, and I'll have her linked right at the top of my description box below. And then also, I'm so excited about this, we'll be giving away a perky prize, a Cricut Joy Super Pack, and all you have to do to enter is to comment down below and you are entered. So if you're new here, welcome. If you're coming over from the hop, or if you're just stopping by for the very first time, we welcome you. For our next project, we're going to be using some square beads, some blue mini ornaments, 3 snowflake votive holders, and some white string or yarn. And so the first thing I did was put my ornaments on top of a skewer so that I could paint them with that same crystal chalk paint. And this color I took out of another DIY that you're going to see at the end, but these were a little bit too aqua, and so I needed to get them to be more coordinated with the color palette, and so this is how I did it. I didn't cover them completely, but some of it showing through is okay. And then I'm going to paint my square beads with the Waverly chalk paint in white, and I just placed those on a skewer as well. And then I'm going to take my votive holder and I'm just going to rock the snowflake back and forth until it pops off of the holder. Then I'll glue the square bead onto the back of my snowflake. And I got that tip from Sweet Megan over at Glue Guns and Roses, and this is brilliant. So now I'm going to take my mini ornaments and I'm just going to take some wire cutters and pull off the top holder part. And then using my heat tool, I'm just going to barely touch it and it melts right in there to make a second hole on the other side. All of the tools that I use, I have listed in my Amazon store, but if there's anything that you see that you can't find there, let me know and I'll be sure to list it. So now I'm going to take a piece of wire and make it into a makeshift needle, feed my thread through it or my string. In this case, it's a little piece of nylon something or other that I had in my stash, but you could use the Dollar Tree string for this. And then I'm just going to start feeding that through my ornaments and my snowflake. And so I did 3 ornaments and then my snowflake, 3 ornaments and my snowflake. So I used a total of 12 mini ornaments to make a sweet little garland. And here it is all finished, and I am just crushing on this blue and white. I said I wasn't going to be using it in my Christmas decor this year, but maybe I can do my bedroom. Do you guys decorate your bedrooms for Christmas? I don't know if that's too much, but I used to have a tree in every room, so I don't know, maybe I will add this. Anyway, we only have one project left, and then we'll see the entire vignette all done. For this project, we're going to be using 2 more of the microfiber mop pads, some foam scatter in the star shape, a tinsel garland plastic tree, and then some blue mini ornaments. And we're actually going to double up on this because I'm going to be making 2 of these trees. So the first thing I did was cut the garland and the tag off of my form, and I'm going to just unwrap the entire thing. It gets a little messy, of course, but we're just going to get it all the way down to the plastic frame. And then I'm going to take a scrap piece of foam core board and trace around the bottom of my tree and then cut that out so that I can hot glue that to the bottom of my tree and it'll have a base. So now I'm going to take my microfiber dusting, I can never remember what this is called, and I have one sitting right in front of me so I can read it, and I can't even say it as I read it, but the microfiber duster mop pad, I'm just going to say mop pad. Anyway, I'm going to start gluing that to the base of my tree, and I'm just using a lot of hot glue and getting it on those little crossbars, and then just wrapping it around a little bit at a time. Because it is so furry, it's kind of forgiving, but I just want to make sure that the bottom of my tree is wrapped evenly around the bottom and isn't crooked. And then I'm going to take my second piece and I'm going to wrap the top part, and then I'll just cut off whatever is not needed. And then there'll be some open spots that I'll just patch up. And again, because it is so fluffy and forgiving, you won't even see those patchwork pieces that you glue onto it. So now I'm just going to take one of the white stars out from my scatter foam package that was from 4th of July time, and I'm going to hot glue that to the top of each of my trees. So this is where I took all of the ornaments out that I didn't like the color of that we used in our garland DIY, but I ended up using 1.5 packs on each of my trees. So I used a total of 3 packs altogether. And then I'm just going to take the top off of my ornament and then put some hot glue on there and tuck it into that furry cuteness. And then to give my trees 2 different levels, I'm going to place one on this little pedestal that I made, and I'll put that video in the description box below so you can see how to make it. But here they are all done, and I love how this turned out. I've seen some of these in some high-end boutiques and stores, and they are so super pricey, but we can do this on a budget, and I think it's just as cute. You could leave the ornaments off even and just leave it in all white if you're doing all white this season. Or you could use the traditional red and green ornaments. This would just be so cute any way you dressed it up. And here's the complete vignette all put together, and I just think this is so pretty and soft, and I just think it is high-end looking. It just makes my heart so happy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, comment, let me know what you think. I'm officially super behind on all of my correspondence, but this is a busy time of year. So just know that I am working on getting back to you, even if that means it's a line of emojis. You know it's coming from my heart. Don't forget to check out the next video on this hop. I hope everyone has a blessed day, and remember to always be the light. Bye!